You likely won't receive a fourth stimulus check unless any of the following apply, which we'll be going over in this video. Now, I am not creating this video to instill fear in anybody, but rather I am laying it all out so that in the event a fourth stimulus check is approved, you can get it as quickly as possible, unlike last time where millions of people had to wait 3 or even 4 weeks. In some instances, some people are still waiting for stimulus checks. Well, we want to avoid that in any way we possibly can and make sure that you will get that money as quickly as possible after it is signed into law. So with that being said, let's get right into it and discuss all of the details. But before we do, if you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. I am back every single day as your voice and as your daily advocate to do anything we possibly can to continue pushing on Congress to remind them that low-income and fixed-income beneficiaries need additional stimulus checks and ultimately permanent raises to benefits like Social Security retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, VA, and RRB benefits, ultimately doing more to issue more relief for low-income and fixed-income beneficiaries. Thank you so much, everybody. I truly appreciate you. And no matter how much adversity we face going forward with all of this, we will continue to push on. We will not give up on this no matter what. I am very much committed to everybody here in this community and doing anything I possibly can to helping you out going forward. I know it's a tough time right now. It is not fun, and I truly feel for everybody here. I just want to do what I can with the ability and the authority that I have. So thank you so much for your support. Let's talk through this. All right. So like I said, just make sure I am not creating this video to instill fear, okay? I just want to make sure that everybody is set up to receive a fourth stimulus check as quickly as possible as soon as they actually sign something into law when it is actually added into the package, okay? So we got to be prepared to receive so that when it is approved, it's like, boom, we've got it, bang, got it. Don't need to wait all this time like so many people did last time. All right, so let's talk through this one at a time. There's a lot of different moving parts with this, but everybody will fall into at least one of the categories. We've got to run through all the different categories to better understand kind of where we sit here, and then, you'll fall into one of these. However, just kind of hang with me. We'll run through these categories one at a time here. So the IRS has made it very clear. Most people will need to file a tax return in order to get stimulus checks. Based on the last 3 stimulus checks that were already distributed, that's what they have said. However, if you are somebody who typically does not file a tax return, don't worry. There are other provisions for you, which we will talk about here in just a minute. But for the most part, most people do need to file a tax return. Now, here's the thing. With the 2 stimulus checks that were approved in 2020, the $1,200 and the $600, those were based on any tax returns that were already on file, either 2018 or 2019 tax returns. However, now that we are in 2021, it's likely that they're going to require anybody with a tax return on file from either tax year 2019 or 2020. So 2018 would likely no longer be in play in the event a fourth stimulus check is actually approved, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now remember, here's what's really important about filing a tax return. And again, if you're somebody who typically doesn't, don't worry, we're going to get to you here in just a second. Here's what's important about filing a tax return. They have all of your information. They can determine your eligibility for a stimulus check. They can determine how much money they actually owe you and the best method in which to get it to you, whether that is a direct deposit into a bank account, maybe onto a direct express card, maybe some other method, or they just decide we're going to send you a paper check, okay? So it's very important that they have that information in order to get you the necessary amount of money as quickly as possible. All right, next, let's talk about those of you who typically do not file a tax return because you receive Social Security benefits, including retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, maybe SSI benefits, VA, or RRB benefits. So all of these people and all of these beneficiaries fall under federal benefits, okay? That's how they identify them. They say that all of these beneficiaries fall under the category of federal beneficiaries, okay? All these different programs I just listed. If you are somebody who receives these benefits and you typically do not file a tax return because your income or your benefits are low enough where you're not required to file one, here's the cool thing. mostly, for the most part, you would not need to file a tax return because they have all of your information. These entities, like the Social Security Administration, for example, they have all of your information, and they once again would supply all of that information to the IRS. At that point, the IRS would take your information, determine your eligibility, and figure out how much money you should actually be getting as a result of the stimulus checks, and then they would distribute it appropriately to either a bank account, a mailbox, or maybe some kind of card like a Direct Express card. I know a lot of you here have Direct Express cards and or bank accounts on file with the Social Security Administration in order to get your monthly benefits from Social Security, right? The same thing goes for like VA beneficiaries, RRB beneficiaries, and SSI beneficiaries. Most people who receive SSI, again, probably have like a Direct Express card. You might have a bank account on file. Either way, doesn't really matter. They have all that information. Now, the same thing happened with the third stimulus check. Remember that whole business that went down? Apparently, the Social Security Administration had a little bit of time there where they were, they didn't supply all the necessary records for all the beneficiaries to the IRS, and then there was like that couple-week waiting period where many of us were like, what's going on here? We don't know what's going on. We're trying to figure it out. Remember that whole business from just a few months ago, earlier this year? Yeah, well, that's the same situation. So we want to avoid that. So we want to make sure that everything is updated, and we want to make sure that they have all of the necessary information. But here's the thing. If you're getting monthly benefits of any kind, like I've been mentioning throughout this video, obviously, they have your information, right? I mean, how could they send you monthly benefits if they didn't actually have your information, right? So yeah, if you're one of those beneficiaries, they've said so many times from the very first stimulus check, no further information is required from all of those beneficiaries. They will automatically process stimulus checks and send it to you in whatever method you automatically receive your monthly benefits. So that's pretty cool. That encompasses about 80 million people, give or take, a few million people, but right around 80 million people. Nice, right? All right. Let's talk about a situation in which you may actually need to file a tax return and or fill out the non-filer sign-up tool on the IRS website. So remember back in 2020, they had the non-filer tool on the IRS website. Well, that tool actually came down for quite a few months, and then they re-put up a new one called the non-filer sign-up tool just a couple months ago. Well, that one is now up and available. It's mostly for people who want to apply and get the child tax credit, but they've also said that you can use it in order to claim stimulus checks. So yeah, that's a good one. Now here, let me give you a situation where you may actually need to fill that out. So now the non-filer is exactly that. It's a non-filer tool. In other words, for people who typically don't file a tax return, that's who it would be for, is a non-filers, okay? But let me give you a situation. Let's just say, for example, you receive Social Security disability, or maybe you receive SSI or VA. It doesn't really matter. Let's just say you're low income, and you typically do not file. However, you now have a dependent, okay? So you have a dependent that you would be claiming in 2021. Maybe it's a new baby. Maybe it's a child that you've adopted. Maybe you took full custody of a child. Who knows the situation? Or maybe it's an older adult that you are now claiming as a dependent. Here's the thing. You may want to fill out the non-filer tool. Now, again, you might want to wait on this until there actually is approval of a fourth stimulus check. But I'm just throwing this out there, just something to keep in mind. You would maybe need to fill that out. If the IRS previously did not know about this dependent, you would maybe want to fill out that tool and make sure that you enter in all the information for the dependent, just so that they are aware that, oh, you now have a dependent, therefore you would be then eligible for additional payments for that dependent as well, right? So in that situation, that is when you may want to consider filling out either the non-filer sign-up tool or filing a tax return. Now, here's the thing. You cannot file a 2021 tax return yet because the year is still in progress, right? You would need to wait until early 2022 in order to file a tax return for 2021, okay? But we can cover that more later, when we get more information on this. But I just wanted to lay that all out just in case you happen to fall into the category of somebody who may need to file more information just in order to, make sure that they are getting information on your dependents. And otherwise, if any other situations happen to change, any kind of thing, the deal is you want to make sure that your information is updated. For example, let's just say that you're a beneficiary of Social Security of any kind or SSI or anything like that. you would want to make sure that all of your banking information is updated, all of your addresses are updated, things like that. Let's just say, for example, you opened a new bank account. You want to make sure that Social Security has that new information so that in the event a fourth stimulus check is approved, they can send over the accurate information to the IRS in order to get you your check to the right bank account, right? That's very, very important. Because here's the thing. If all of a sudden you get a new bank account and they issue a fourth stimulus check and they send it to the wrong account, oh, that just opens up a whole new can of worms, because then they need to retract the payment from the wrong account. Obviously, it's probably not even going to go to the right account or the into the wrong account, but then they'll need to kind of scan their files and figure, okay, do you have a new bank account? If not, then they would need to file and send out a paper check in the mail, and that's going to take a lot longer, right? So you just want to make sure that all of your information is updated, as well as addresses. I know a lot of people have been moving. I've seen it a lot in the comment section saying, hey, I moved, what do I do now? Just make sure that all your information is updated. That's very, very important. So I saw with the third stimulus check, the $1,400 from earlier this year, I can't tell you how many comments I saw on many of my videos saying, it was sent to an old bank account. What do I do? Well, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot you can do. At that point, if it's sent to an old bank account, the IRS will just take it back, and then they would have to issue a paper check, which we know takes a very long time compared to a direct deposit. Direct deposits happen very, very quickly, in a matter of just a couple days usually, or usually even just like a day. But as far as paper checks, yeah, those are usually a few weeks to get out the door and actually into your possession. And then, of course, you got to go somewhere and either cash it and or deposit it. Well, that's just something else you got to do. So yeah, direct deposit is by far the best method in which to do this. But either way, if you're somebody who receives any of those benefits we've been talking about throughout this entire video, you're pretty much good to go unless your situation has changed. As in, like I said, you have a new dependent or something else with your situation has changed, a new bank account, a new address, anything else. You want to keep all that information updated as much as possible. So either way, we will keep you updated as far as the fourth stimulus check goes. I wanted to lay this all out because in the event that fourth stimulus check is actually approved, we want to make sure that we can get you that money as quickly as possible. Unlike last time, where unfortunately millions and millions of people had to wait for weeks and weeks and weeks in order to get that payment. Or in some instances, like I said, some people are unfortunately still waiting for their third stimulus check. All these months later, some people are still waiting. Yeah, that's really sad, right? So, especially when they said, oh, we need to get this out as a relief check. I mean, relief check? Seriously? If it was a relief check, it should have been sent out immediately, not like 5 months later, right? So, wow. Anyway, I want to lay this all out there. Just remember, I am here to help you out. I'm here to lay everything out as clearly as possible, to walk you through this and do whatever we possibly can to make sure that all of you get the necessary money and do whatever we can to help all of you on a regular basis. So make sure to hit that subscribe button right down below the video. I will keep you updated with everything going on regarding a stimulus check, raises to benefits, any kind of reform to these programs, anything else going on out there that may pertain to you or that you may be able to take advantage of. Don't worry, I will lay it all out right here on this channel and in these videos. Thanks again, everyone. I truly appreciate you. Share this video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other nearly 1,400 videos right here on the channel. Thanks again. I truly appreciate it, and I'll see you again in the next video.